when it comes to developing good character, there's a momentum aspect that has to be taken into account. Okay, we've talked before, al-Raghib al-Isfahani drew our attention to the fact that there's levels, right? There's different plateaus that you hit, and then you go through growth, and then you hit another plateau, and then you go through more growth and hit another plateau. And then by the same token, there are levels of descent. You know, you could fall off with some things and kind of plummet down, and then there's another level beneath that and another level beneath that. And so we should be cognizant and take stock of ourselves to see what direction we're heading in, right? You should compare yourself. And Ramadan is a really natural time to kind of take stock of yourself and just very frankly assess, where am I at spiritually? How is my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How is my expression of gratitude towards Him compared to last year? Compared to 2 years ago, compared to 4 years ago. We do this already. We do this with things like our health and our cardio and we go for a physical, right? We see what's our weight and what's our blood sugar and these sorts of things. So this is a very familiar thing. We also do it with our finances, right? You want to check and see if you're saving, if you're losing, do you need to readjust your budget? Well, why don't we do this with our spiritual lives as well, right? How is our progress going through this world, trying to make it to the afterlife? Are we at least getting better? And there's two aspects and there's two things, al-Raghib al-Isfahani, he talks about the importance of the little things. And if you think about it from a theological perspective, it might not be true per se, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, okay, if you avoid the big stuff, then He's going to forgive the little things. And that's tremendously merciful from Him. Which one of us doesn't make minor sins? Every single one of us makes minor sins every day. But Allah promised us that if we avoid the major sins, that He would wipe those minor sins away. So theologically, right, it's like get the big stuff right and maybe don't sweat the small stuff, right? But al-Raghib al-Isfahani, he's looking at things not from a strictly theological perspective, but from a personal development perspective. Because there is a concern that if you leave some of the little things go, they could eventually turn into bigger things. And this could actually hurt your momentum, or it could actually get your momentum going in the wrong direction. Maybe you're doing the big things, you're staying away from the major muharramat and things like that. But, you start making your prayers at home compared to the masjid, and then you start, making your prayers not right away, but towards the end of the time period, and then maybe even you start missing prayers or things like that. And everybody's at a different level, so it will look differently for every person. But if you don't do those little things from a personal development perspective, they can actually start to accumulate and actually weigh you down and actually start to affect the big things. That's the concern. The concern is, how do we not fall into the big things? Sometimes we need to take care of the details. We need to cross our T's and dot our I's. We can think of it, okay, well, slippery slope argument, it's not really very sound. I mean, if I apply the logic in kind of an extreme way, it's like, well, then it's almost like paranoia, right? Every single little thing that I miss, it could lead to something huge down the line. Well, that's not exactly what we're saying, but we are saying that maybe we can think about it as low-hanging fruit. Right, all those little things like staying after the prayer to make some dhikr, right, or reciting just a little bit of Quran every day. Trying to watch our speech and make sure that we are not using harsh words or foul language, or we're not making anybody feel bad with the things that we say or that we do, that we're uplifting people around us and we're calling people to be better. If we're able to pick up on enough of the little things, then it could actually make it much easier to get the big things right. It could give us the momentum that we're looking for to make positive change in major ways to develop our character even further.